interesting HD family. In today's video, we've been stunned. Michael Atkinson is an adventurer, filmmaker and former military pilot. In his channel Outback Mike, he shows us how he survives his way out of tricky situations, using survival skills he has learned in the military. For the most of his career, he has been a pilot in the Australian Defence Force. Throughout that time he also taught survival skills to pilots and members of NORFORCE. Now, he tests his skills outside the military on various expeditions in Australia and around the world. Here, he builds a dugout canoe for a 1500 km solo expedition up Australia's Great Barrier Reef. The project took one full-time year of building, and the results are astonishing. A dugout canoe is a type of boat or watercraft made by hollowing out a single log or tree trunk. This traditional method has been used by various cultures around the world for thousands of years. The process typically involves removing the interior wood of a tree trunk. While preserving the outer shell, it becomes the hull of the canoe. Dugout canoes are known for their simplicity and effectiveness. They were historically used by indigenous peoples for transportation, fishing, and sometimes even warfare. The specific design, size, and construction methods of these canoes can vary from one culture to another. That's because they often depended on the available materials and the needs of the people using them. Michael's canoe is crafted out of a 4-ton Norfolk pine log, an evergreen coniferous tree. This pine is native to Norfolk Island in the South Pacific and is known for its straight and tall trunk. The wood from these trees is lightweight and buoyant, making it ideal for canoe construction. As we said before, dugout canoes have been used for thousands of years. Some of the oldest known examples dating back to prehistoric times. They were used by indigenous peoples around the world, especially by the Aboriginal Australians. Craftsmen used a combination of tools, such as axes, chisels, and fire, to hollow out the log's interior. Fire was sometimes used to burn and scrape out the wood, a process known as fire hollowing. Dugout canoes are incredibly resilient and could withstand a great deal of wear and tear. They are carved from a single log, creating a monolithic structure, contributing to its sturdiness. With no seams or joints, there are fewer points of potential weakness. That makes them more resistant to water infiltration or possible breakage. Indigenous Australian communities crafted well-suited canoes for their region's specific water conditions. Some communities lived along the coastline, while others used canoes for navigating rivers and lakes. Canoes were adapted to handle the challenges of different water environments. From the surf and currents of coastal waters to the calm waters of billabongs and lagoons. The thickness of the canoe's hull varied, but it was often thicker along the keel. This design enhanced buoyancy and stability, allowing the canoe to even navigate rapids and obstacles. Aboriginal communities made an extensive use of natural materials to seal the canoes. Various types of resin, gum, pitch, or other tree exudates were collected from native trees. These materials had adhesive and waterproofing properties, making them ideal for sealing the gaps, cracks, and seams in the wooden hull of the canoe. To ensure that the interior remained watertight, these natural sealants were applied. Normally, to the areas where the wood had been gouged or chiseled out to create the hollowed interior. These sealants filled in any irregularities, ensuring a smooth and waterproof surface. In some cases, the sealants were heated to make them more pliable and adhesive. Aboriginal craftsmen would carefully heat the natural materials, allowing them to be spread more effectively. Once applied, the materials cooled and solidified, creating a strong seal. By sealing the wood, these techniques also protected the hull from rot and decay. This is especially important when considering the longevity of the canoes. Michael started this project to place himself in the historic predicament of shipwreck survivor James Morrill. After an epic 42-day raft journey from his shipwreck outside the Great Barrier Reef, Morrill drifted ashore south of present-day Townsville. Discovered and cared for by the Baree Gubba clan, he fully assimilated into Aboriginal society. He wanted to see if he could escape Morrill's predicament 1 year after he landed ashore. By this stage, he'd recovered from the shipwreck and learned the survival basics from his Aboriginal carers. Over 14 months, Michael used the same types of tools Morrill brought ashore from his shipwreck. The double outrigger canoe blends a traditional Aboriginal design with Western boat building techniques. This type of canoes have a distinctive design, featuring a main hull with two smaller outrigger hulls. The outriggers provide additional stability, preventing capsize while sailing in rough seas. The mast is stepped on the main hull, and the sail is used to harness the wind's power for propulsion. Besides, these traditional canoes are not only practical vessels. They play a role in cultural ceremonies and traditional knowledge passed down through generations. They are used in various events, such as weddings, initiations, funerals, and offerings to ancestors. The canoes themselves may be decorated and adorned with culturally significant motifs and carvings. Aboriginal cultures have a deep sense of continuity, and the canoes symbolize this link across generations. The construction, maintenance, and navigation of these canoes are passed down through generations. Elders and knowledgeable community members pass on their expertise to the younger generation. Efforts are ongoing to preserve the traditional craftsmanship techniques associated with these canoes. Their symbols may represent elements of the natural world, deities, or historical events. They serve as a visual language through which the culture's stories and beliefs are expressed. These stories recount the heroic adventures of seafarers who embarked on daring expeditions. They are not only exciting but also serve as historical records of seafaring accomplishments. Visit Michael's channel to see how he himself builds a survival legend out of his creations. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. The adventure continues. Leave a comment telling us where you would like to go if you had a canoe like Outback Mike's.